YouTube. It's the Moorish Trucker, your brother, man, and friend, demonstrating love, true peace, freedom, and justice here, there, and everywhere. 5 month review, Trans Am. Boy, it's been a whole lot of trying getting up this hill. Man, listen. I'm gonna start out with orientation. On a scale of 1 to 10, it was a flat out 2. I say that because a lot of the information that they gave us was useless. They try to say the excuse was Tampa is for company drivers, which is crazy because the recruiter never asked, "Oh, you want to go lease or company?" You see what I'm saying? They just automatically sent me there. So on Friday they asked us if we want to go company or lease. No, one's like lease. So as a company, it's kind of crazy that they didn't ask us that early in the week and give us the proper training, because here's a guy you gave company training, but you sent him on the road as a lease driver. Like, for a company this big, I find that hard to just be a coincidence. I think it's just the nature of the business for them. Uh, Relays. As a lease driver, you can turn down relays when they telling you you're running out of time if you know you got the time. I always thought relays came from the top. It was something we had to do. Uh, Breakdowns. They didn't explain the breakdown process. One, we responsible for the hotel. See, in orientation, they told us the company paid for it. And had I have known that, I'd have been putting money out of each check to the side for a hotel, which is a good deal. Put about $25 out of every check in case you break down. Because like now, I just went to Dallas and my air conditioner went out. No issue. You know what I mean? I caught the Uber, paid for the hotel. Bam, came back the next day, got the truck. No problem. You know what I mean? Had I have known this in my previous breakdown, it would have been the same scenario and I wouldn't have been mad. Information. You know, what you don't know will hurt you out here. You know what I'm saying? But nobody explained that they scale tickets. They told us they pay for the scale. Oh no, that's not for lease. That's for company drivers. So we come out here thinking one thing, and it's actually something totally different, and we don't find out until we actually in that situation and things are going bad. This is what upsets me with Trans Am. Like, they should have a better orientation class to prepare ones out here. What else? PMs. Preventive maintenance. As soon as you get assigned your truck, call roadside assistance and ask them what PMs you have available. Because see, they not going to tell you. You'll just be riding, and one day they pick up the phone, call you, say, hey, you got to take this truck and get this done on it. And if you don't, they're going to deny you loads until you do. You can take it to Kenworth, or you can take it to the shop of your choosing, however they go. And if it take longer than a day, you're going to be responsible for the hotel. So to be mindful and to be before time to be on time, already know when these PMs are due so that you can be prepared for them, instead of them just catching you off guard like it did a lot of us. Honestly, excuse me, out of all the people that started with me in orientation and went lease, there's only 2 of us left. Everybody else already gone. So that tells you how much shit. You know, to work for Trans Am, you gotta have a thick skin and a tolerance for bullshit. You just do. Because a couple of reasons I didn't leave. One, because, you know, I kind of go to sleep and wake up with a new attitude. 2, the companies I wanted to go to, they either required 6 months or 3 months, and the 3 months just didn't have the pay I thought was agreeable to me. So me and my guy, not my guy, a friend of mine, we gonna partner up and buy a truck and just do our own authority. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm built to work for people out here in the company, because every company has its problems. At least if I know the problems are on me, I can live with that. But knowing that they own someone else, that's just not a good deal. You know, a lot of the information changes. Like now, it used to be you could deny a load as long as you was under load. Like now I'm at the receiver. So I could put in my pre-plan, deny that pre-plan because I'm still under load. But Trans Am done changed it. Now you can't, well, as a lease driver you can, but you get a bonus. Let me explain the bonuses. Your first 30 days in, they're going to give you a $500 bonus. Every month after that, you have to run from the first of the month to the end of the month before you can get a bonus. And that's kind of sucks. Like me, I started in on the 17th. So they paid me to the 17th from March to April. And I had to wait to May 1st, to the end of May 1st, to June to get another. So they give you that first one in your first 30 days. Then after that, you have to run from the beginning of the month to the end of the month, no talk, without going home and without turning down loads. So it's still forced dispatch. Forced dispatch is you either run the load or else. In this situation, you either run the load or lose your bonus. You know, it used to be you could save your bonus by denying the pre-plan while you still under a load. Oh, excuse me. Now they done changed it to where it don't matter. If you deny it, you lose your bonus. To me, that's forced dispatch, but that's neither here nor there. So Trans Am as a company, for me, there's just been too many headaches. Week after week after week after week after week that are their fault. That you end up paying for by losing miles, losing money, wasting your time and your energy. You see what I'm saying? So for me, my 5-month review of Trans Am is, if you have to come here, or if you're choosing to come here, just know you're going to have to swallow a lot of bullshit to make it to the end of your lease. Like now, I'm roughly 3 weeks left in my lease. I'm going to do a 6-month, but I'm going to wait till after I see how they do the deductions and things, because my maintenance account right now is at $1,400. So I assume it's time for my lease to be up, it should be about $1,800. I got an oil change coming, and I have a cracked windshield that I have to replace. So that may take $600 out. My escrow $500. This check will be the last check. They would take $20, because they're gonna take $25 out a week for that. Then I have a $600 escrow that they're gonna still take $25 a week out of for 4 more weeks. So yeah, there's 4 weeks left in my lease, not 3. I'm gonna be running to the 15th of next month. Well, to the 18th, because the 18th is pay period. So I might as well run them other 3 days just so I can cover the lease payment and still get a check. So the 18th may be the last day for the lease. And then after, they say it take 2-3 weeks for them to figure all that out about the truck and then get you your money. So there's a $500 escrow on the table, a $600 escrow on the table, the remainder of my maintenance balance, plus 3 cents a mile, right? A couple of bands, should be, but I'll do a review and let y'all know how that go. But my 5-month review is, it was hard getting here, man. Like I say, I'm one of the last of the Mohegans out of my orientation class. You know what I mean? Like, it was a struggle to get here. But I'm too close to the finish line now to just give up. Knowing, especially, that it's that money on the table. But I've took every bit of bullshit they could throw at me. So my review of Trans Am is mostly, it's a company that only focuses on keeping the customer happy, not the driver. They're going to do whatever it takes to keep the customer happy, but minimum to keep you happy. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I give them a 3. You draw. Would I sign another 6-month lease? I wanted to, and I was almost going to, but here they go playing games with my miles again, giving me bullshit trips and making it hard for me to make money. I can't keep working on what I may or may not make when we talking $400, $500, $600. Now, if it was upper 8 to 1,000 and I don't know what I'm gonna make, that I could live with that. But I know one driver told me he was 300 in the hole. This was his last week. This was a couple weeks ago. I met him at a stop. I have a habit of asking every Trans Am driver that I see, man, how they treat me. And everyone has been, bullshit. Now there has been one or two, or one in particular, who said he get 3,400 miles every week. I said, what? How the hell you get 3,400 every week? I don't know if that's true or not, but it would be some bullshit if it is, because I run a minimum of 500 to 600 miles every day. If I run under that, it's because, like now, I done drove here to the shipper, to the receiver. I'm in a staging area, and I still got to wait for them to get me to the dock to unload me. Then my next pickup on my pre-plan is 78 miles away. So I'm gonna go pick that up, and then it goes to Florida, but it don't deliver to Thursday, and it's only 700 miles. It's gonna be there tomorrow. Like this load was actually here yesterday. But when I called the receiver, they say they don't do early pickups. I can only be 2 hours early. So here I am 2 hours early, and I'm waiting. So, live loads in this business, I can expect live loads to shake your clock up, take your time away, limit the amount of hours you can drive, miles you can get. But I've had dropping hooks with Trans Ams that were problems. Like I say, the one, it was supposed to be a dropping hook. Lady clearly told me, Trans Am, no, we got one of their trailers and it's red tagged. It's not operable. And they still planned me out for a live load. Like, left hand don't never know what the right hand doing, let them tell it. You draw. So, would I do it again if I had the right information? Yeah, because it would have been easier to navigate, and it would have been a lot less to be mad about. You see what I'm saying? So the fact that you don't have the information, that you have to actually get out here to to get out here to learn the hard way. It'd be a difference if, with anything, you have to experience it in order to get a handle on it. But with Trans Am, you're gonna pay for it, because one leaser gonna want their money. You gotta put fuel in the truck to keep running. So it's been a few times, like doing my breakdown, where I put the fuel in the truck based on the miles I was supposed to run, didn't run those miles, but they still took that money. You know what I'm saying? So things like that where you lose, it's just hard to win here. They tell you, I'll be cool with your driving manager and show them you can run and you get all the miles you can get. That's a lot. My driving manager tell me she don't have nothing to do with the miles. The planner decide based on where you at and what's in that area. They decide that. So there's nothing you can do as far as being cool with your driving manager. There's nothing you can do with running 500-600 miles a day, showing them that, hey, you can get out here and hustle. None of that shit matters here, man. I done did it all, and I done took every bit of shit they could throw at you. You know what I mean? So we'll see how the final ends out, them paying me. Because like I say, I haven't had the best of luck with money. I had a gate fee. They tell me over the garment it has to be in cash, which means they're not going to send me the money to my EFS card to write a check to pay for it. I had to pay for it out of pocket. It's on we got a trip sheet, right? And you put on there your expenses. They give you a PO number and everything. I put it on there, sent in a receipt. They didn't put it on my check. I had to call, and then finally a week later they put it on my check. Then another issue is load locks. Like sometimes you'll come to these shippers and they'll require load locks, right? And the next drop may be a dropping hook. So once you put them load locks on there and put the seal on the truck, you can't get back in the truck after you done dropped it off to get your load locks. So you either got to find another trailer with load locks on it, on that receiver's property, or you got to go to the truck stop and buy them. And what they would do, you go in there, ask them how much they cost with tax, and then you'll go back, put in a request on the garment, they'll put it on your EFS card, you can write that check and pay for it. What happened with me was they took it off my check, but they didn't reimburse me for it. So they charged me for the load locks. Even though it's on my trip sheet, I sent the receipt, did what I was supposed to do. How y'all miss not giving me this money back? And one thing that pissed me off about that was the EFS card, you get $15 a day fronted to you. So as a lease driver, You say for instance you ain't got no money for food. Every day you can spend $15 and then they'll take that off your next check. So my EFS card is not allowed to push, other than fuel, anything over $15. So if it's something over $15, the load locks was like 60, 70, 79 bucks and something. The gate fee was $75. So immediately, if you've been doing this for a long time, you know that somebody had to approve me getting that money, but because I can't just take it off it's not going to just come off my card miraculously. They have to approve it on their end, then it shows up on your card. How do you miss not reimbursing me? Why I got to keep calling and asking for money that, so for me, if you don't say nothing, they won't say nothing. That's just the bottom line. Pay attention to your settlements, pay attention to your reimbursements, because they will try to pull it. Not once, they did it with me twice. So it's not an accident, it's not a human error, it's the way they do business. The same way with these loads and the times being messed up. It happened more than once. It's no longer an accident, because you're not correcting these problems. You feel me? So for me, Trans Am is just, all roads have been pointing since I've been here that this was just not the company for me. But I stuck it out and hung on in there. As a man of my word, I'm gonna complete the lease. You draw, and if I could have here and there, if things would have worked out in my favor with another company, I'd have went. But I'm not gonna leave a bad situation, go to another bad situation or a worse situation. You might as well stick it out where you at and get that stigma, a new driver, off your shoulders. 6 months is the first step. A year is the second step. Once you got 2 years in, you good. You can go anywhere you want to go. The road is yours. So, you got to start somewhere. I started at Trans Am. And it's been a bumpy road, man. There's no one can say I didn't pay my dues in trucking, boy. I done suffered every which way you can suffer here, except going in the hole. There have been a lot of drivers that have went in the hole. And make sure you get them to explain your lifestyle to you. You only get twice to use it. And what it does is it'll pay your note for a week, and you get 2 of them. Every 3 months is the way it's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't explain that in orientation. And one thing, like I say, the writing was on the wall. I pretty much ignored it, because I was like, why don't they give us the lease contract, let us take it back to the room, look over it, and see what's up. They gave us an overview of the lease over the phone in Tampa. You know what I mean? They just over the phone. We had to write notes. I still got a few of them. You know what I mean? But, it's just a lot of different things that could have been done differently. Trans Am as a company, as far as preparing its lease drivers to be successful. If you're already telling me you can't guarantee me miles, right? If you're telling me, hey, the planners do what they do, your driver manager can't help you, I wouldn't be mad. If you're telling me I have to pay for a hotel if I go into a breakdown, I can't be mad. You see what I'm saying? If you're telling me I had the power to deny and accept loads, even if they relay, I can't be mad. You see what I'm saying? And like the breakdown pay. I should have got my breakdown pay for the first week I broke down, to put some money in my pocket. Then that second week when I was in that other truck, I should have got the breakdown to cover that. What they did was take it all and paid that next week's check. I would have went in the hole. I would have had no problem with it, because I'd have made the money up the week after, right? So even with the breakdown pay, it doesn't help you. I got a $39 check that week. You know what I mean? So, and I had to pay for the hotel, and I had to pay for my food. So not only did I lose money, I spent money. If I had been made aware of this early on, it wouldn't have been too many issues, man. But yeah, Trans Am 5-month review. Me personally, I'm not happy. If it's anybody out there who is happy with Trans Am, I'd appreciate if you tag me in a video or something like that, and tell me how you survived. You draw, because everybody I talk to having issues. Like I said, I talked to one guy who said he was making 3,400 miles every week. One guy. Everywhere else I went, every other Trans Am driver has been shitty, holding on and holding out or ready to go. So, I will do a 6 month after we see how all these things they promised us, because they promised us a surfuel charge. They put that out there like it was a benefit, but I'm being charged a surcharge. I pay for it now. It's costing me $40-$60 a check for the fuel surcharge, when the way they have it in writing is that they're giving me a fuel surcharge, which they supposed to charge the shipper. I look at my checks like, man, in the ad pay, it's all negative. Y'all subtracting that. Y'all ain't, it's because of the COVID. I don't think they planned on this to happen, and it's been every check. So I'm paying a fuel surcharge and didn't even know it. Thought I was being paid a fuel surcharge. So, you got to be real mindful, man. Like, they change horses in the middle of the race all the time. What you think ain't what it's going to be. Like, I thought it was going to be a whole different format. Boy, you can't make this shit up. So, just be mindful if you hear of the few things I explained to you, man. And like I say, have your head on tight to be fucked. And like I say, if it's somebody out there that works for Trans Am that hasn't been fucked over, let me know, man. Show me what I'm doing wrong and what you did right, please. Because I've tried it every which way. I've tried to adjust to every problem. Every week it's a new problem. Constantly. Every week. So, even the week I made 3,100 miles, it was because I turned down a relay that they kept calling and calling and calling and calling me to relay, telling me I wasn't going to make it. Now, mind you, I got there with 10 minutes left on my clock, but I got it there. And the load was already a day late. From the time I picked it up from the shipper, it was already late. That y'all sweating me trying to give it to another driver, and then the load after that was 1,700 miles. That's how I got 3,100 that week. So I'm under the impression that they was trying to get that next load into somebody else's hands and take it out of mine, because that's the only time I reached 3,000 miles plus. So 5-month review of Trans Am, it ain't been easy, man. And it hasn't been a happy road. I can't tell you at no time, except one time I was happy when I got a call from the guy when they told me they was going to pay the utility loss. The one guy said that they told him they don't do overlay pay. They don't. Overlay is when the shipper stalls you out and take too long, or they behind unloading. But if Trans Am makes the mistake somewhere within your paperwork, within your garment, within your scheduling, and it costs you a day or it costs you some time, that's a utility loss. They will pay for that, but they're not going to pay for the overlay like you being at a shipper or a receiver too long. But if they make the mistake on their end, they'll pay that utility loss to you. They're supposed to pay me another one this week. Today is Tuesday. We'll see Friday when that check come through, if it's on there. I don't know. And that happened 2 weeks in a row. Like I say, every week, either I got the worst luck in the world, or they just not mindful of the drivers. Like I say, they make sure that the shipper and the receivers are nothing but happy. But you, listen, you don't take a back seat, you being drugged behind the damn car. So, yeah, man, they really took the fight out of me as far as wanting to go to another company and work. I'm gonna just partner up, get a truck, and try to take these problems in on my own. Because the money's out here, and you can sign on to major carriers and still get without being under contract, without being under the stigma, because they tell you, oh, you're a lease driver, you the boss. But I'm never at the table when decisions are being made on my behalf. I think they should have it where they send you a list of 3 or 4 loads in that area and let you pick from one. At least then it really is on you. But my experience when I've turned down loads through pre-planning, the next load is worse. Turn that down, the next load is even worse. So now I'm in a situation where shit, I don't want it to get no worse than this. Let me hurry up and take something and go. So When they tell you not force dispatch, that's a lie. You are. You either take the load or you gonna pay. You feel me? So yeah, man. You just gotta have a tough skin to stick it out. Like I say, I'm down on my last 4 weeks, man, and by the grace of God, man, I held on and held out. Just glad to be over it. But I did learn how to have decent conversations with recruiters at other companies, which kind of gauge me to this is not for me, that's not for me, things like that. Trans Am gonna learn you. Oh, they gonna definitely learn you about the worst of the worst that can happen to you out here in this trucking industry, and it's a beautiful profession. It's a good profession, man. Like, I enjoy it. You feel me? Like, literally, I should have been doing this 10, 15 years ago. You drove. So, yeah, man. I wouldn't recommend Trans Am to anybody. But for people that are they're going there, yeah, I'll definitely, try to help you through it, explain a few things to you, give you a few ups to, at least keep your blood pressure down. So my next video will probably be under my own authority. And we definitely gonna let y'all know what happened at the end of the lease, how they paid out, what they deducted, what kind of games they playing or not playing, and things like that, man. So, man, y'all keep trucking, be safe, be mindful, pay attention to what's going on when it's your money and your time. Peace and love.